the presentation. Good evening. Welcome to Team Training Tuesday. I also would like to call it Applied Neolife. And today we want to talk about stress, and particularly stress in the youth. We are in the Youth Month. June has been designated, or was designated, the Youth Month in South Africa. And the history of that is that in 1976, on the 16th of June, there was the beginning of a series of uprisings, particularly because of the school education system that a lot of pupils were very, very unhappy with. So it came to be known as the Soweto Uprising. It began in Soweto and quickly spread around to other parts of the country. And in all that, there was quite a lot of lives lost. And so from that day, after all the changes that were made, we now celebrate or commemorate the day as Youth Day, but it was a series of days and months and years. I must say, I wanted to talk about stress in the youth from a health point of view as well. And just to highlight a few things that maybe we have forgotten and we need to remind ourselves. So this is a famous psychologist and philosopher, Carl Jung, who said it all depends on how we look at things and not how they are in themselves. And I want each one of us to claim that so that we start looking at things differently. So I'm going to start with some random examples of lifestyle habits causing stress. I'm not sure whether I introduced myself. I apologize. My name is Dr. Esa Zanambasi. I'm a medical doctor by profession and training. I've been at it for over 35 years. I have seen a lot as a result, and my passion now is for the youth and the men and families, but I like to deal with individuals as well. But for some months now, I've been having these sessions that I call Team Training Tuesday or Applied Neolife, because I have been with Neolife, which is the world's leading nutrition and wellness company, for several years now. So that was my intro, which I should have done up front. But let me just carry on with some random examples of lifestyle habits causing stress. One is not sleeping enough. We all know that the youth, and even as they grow into adults, seem to have a challenge with sleep. And it is even worse now that we are being exposed to a lot of light and a lot of electromagnetic frequencies and fields. So what happens is that biorhythms, those are the normal rhythms as they're supposed to be in our bodies, such as the circadian rhythm, which is the night and day rhythm, the 24-hour cycle. Those ones get terribly disturbed, and other biorhythms are like menstrual cycles in women, and therefore their ability to be fertile. And it also affects men as well. So that's what I mean by biorhythms. Now, there are three main organs that control those. The hypothalamus is the master control center in the brain, and it is influenced by light and dark. And then you have the pituitary gland, which is also in the brain, just below the hypothalamus. I call it the conductor of the hormonal orchestra. I like to think of it as the conductor of the hormonal orchestra. And then you can have the adrenals. Those are small little glands that sit on top of the kidneys. I was going to say the renals, the kidneys, and they regulate output of cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones, but they also churn out quite a few other important hormones as well. So now, the reason I'm giving you that background is to highlight the fact that if there is not enough sleep happening and not enough of the other lifestyle issues and practices that we're going to discuss, there can be a lot of disturbances and a lot of stress as a result. So help your body to beat stress. I put this in here just to tell you that a lot of us know this product called CalMag. It is actually calcium and magnesium. But you see, if there is a lot of stress, the body needs a lot of minerals, vitamins, nutrients, and as well, and those tend to be deficient. And so the youth have that disadvantage in that they, on top of everything else, might not be eating adequate amounts of food or food that is nutrient dense, and therefore they run the risk of damaging their health generally, including their bones. Okay, so another random example. Overexertion or overtraining, apart from it affecting sleep, can also lead to quite a lot of stress. Okay, I've just pointed out mineral deficiencies, but when they overtrain and overexert themselves, or all of us for that matter, the heart rate remains high and remains high well into the night. And then if on top of that, there are other stressors like too much light, too much EMF, cell phones, we're on Facebook, this can lead to a lot of issues, such as making insulin resistance worse. And we are seeing it. Seriously, we are seeing it. Then another random, I said I'll give a few random examples, is disruption of the microbiome. So the microbiome is that colony and population of bacteria that reside in us, in our intestines, and they have a very, very important role, which is to help with digesting the food, but also to make hormones. They're very, very important in making hormones and helping metabolize those hormones as well. And so over the past few years, there's been a lot of shifts in our microbiota, our microbiomes, because of antibiotics, food preservatives, pesticides out there, other things like additives in agriculture, you know, glyphosate and things like that. And as a result, there's massive hormonal imbalances and deficiencies. I'll give you an example of oxytocin. Oxytocin is a cute hormone. It's what makes us feel love for someone else or for other people or for humanity for that matter. It makes us less aggressive. It makes us approachable. It makes us really human connectors, okay, able to associate with people. But it has been observed that because of the microbiome being so imbalanced, the lactobacillus that is responsible for creating for us in our gut, that hormone called oxytocin, seems to have been killed off. Now, doesn't that cause us to pause and say, wait a minute, is that why there is so much aggression and lack of love and all that? Well, possibly one of the reasons. Then mindset. As I say, this is such a massive topic that I thought, let me just pinch on it from here and there. Mindset. What is your mindset regarding your diet? I've mentioned sleep, stress reduction, or do you remain on the go, go, go and forget to actually analyze how stressed you are because you are running on adrenaline and cortisol, okay? And then positive relationships. I've just mentioned oxytocin, but yes, we need to actually ask ourselves, what is my mindset regarding positive relationships? And then your mindset regarding the connection between spirit, mind, and body. Just to get us to think. And while you're thinking, just breathe. Please take a few deep breaths. Use your lungs, use all your lungs. We tend to, as a result of stress, be shallow breathers. We breathe just with the top, maybe third of the quarter, if we're lucky, half of the lungs up at the top, and we are breathing fast, and we are not really causing the diaphragm to move down, and we're just upper chest breathers and not belly breathers as we should be. One way to be a good belly breather is to have a good hearty laugh. But the other way is to practice breathing, to actually do breathing exercises. And there are lots of health benefits, one of which is to manage stress. So back to mindset, what can we do? We need to ask ourselves, I'll use myself, can I accept that things happen for a reason? And am I willing to learn the lessons? Am I grateful? I've been keeping a gratitude journal. I may have mentioned this in the past, and I found it totally transformational. Just to journal every evening what I am grateful that day. And it is amazing how much we can be grateful for. At least I found that as my experience. And then the other one, are you willing to be able to forgive the past? It may mean learning to think upon the positive aspects of negative events that may have happened. And all that is in an effort to manage stress. So now, I want to use pain as an example. Pain is very stressful, we all know that. And pain has been shown to be associated with a variety of emotions, such as resentment, such as feelings of unworthiness, such as criticism, being hypercritical. You know, you never see anything right about anything. You'll be shown the opportunity and your default is to criticize it and, you know, find something wrong. To blame, you know, it's not my fault. No, it's not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. And then to feel victimized. Those emotions have been shown to be associated with pain, big time. And also childhood stressful events can be recycled depending on how your mindset is and what you choose to do about your mindset. And that can create limiting beliefs and thoughts well into adulthood, causing persistent simmering stress. So the point of all this is just to highlight the fact that, yes, our youth are stressed, but it doesn't start then. It might start in childhood, and then it just carries on to adulthood, and we shall continue with the progression of things. So the environment at a cellular level is what I want to discuss. We all know that Neolife has chosen to give us nutrition at a cellular level, but I want you to understand the thinking behind that, and to understand the environment at a cellular level. The environment our genes are in is in every single cell in our body. We know we have anywhere between 70 and, I always say between 70 and 100 trillion cells in our body. And those are the environment that our genes are in. And so one has to perhaps know a little bit about those cells. Cells communicate and have a way of picking up and responding to chemical, electrical, and vibrational signals. Those signals can originate from the environment, either inside the body or outside the body. And if we think about things like the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, whatever touches our skin, our thoughts and feelings about ourselves and other people, and about life generally, and the electromagnetic fields around us. All those will impact the environment of our cells and our genes as a result. So let's just carry on. Right, so just to remind you, a human cell looks something like that. That's just a picture, a diagram of it. And key in those cells are what we know as mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cells. They produce the energy, they do the work. They are the working parts of our cells. And mitochondria are unique in that they have there may be several in the harder working cells. For example, in the heart cell, each cell of the heart as an organ, each single cell, so there are many, has about 5,000 or more mitochondria. So because the heart works hard, it has a lot of mitochondria, and they generate the currency for energy called ATP. And the importance of mitochondria is that that is where the basic life requirements, in other words, air and food, actually are combined to create the energy. And so the importance of knowing this background is that by increasing mitochondrial function, it is one of the best ways to boost cellular energy and therefore to enhance the efficiency of how your body actually performs and works and remains healthy, including how the immune system remains healthy. Last week, we discussed the immune system in quite some detail. So yeah, and the result of that is that you can actually slow down the aging process, which is important. Now, just a few more facts about mitochondria. Once they're not working well, disease happens. And I've mentioned that the cell has many, I've mentioned it, but I'll say it again. They have their own DNA, that is the material that will program that cell for the future. And they also have their own ability to create protein. Okay, so mitochondria live for about 100 days, only about 3 months. And every minute or every second, actually, about 2 billion mitochondria are being made. Now, that will all depend on what is happening in your body. Are you supplying what is required? Are you looking after the body? Is the environment inside the cells good? And I will highlight it again that we belong to a company that has chosen to focus on cellular nutrition. So the basic requirements are oxygen and nutrients, and the key nutrients are mentioned here: glucose, magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, the B vitamins, very, very important. And for example, if you are eating a very high sugar and carbohydrate diet, I will tell you right away that you are vitamin B deficient. particularly vitamin B1 deficient, but the B vitamin plus. And that can lead to energy problems, okay? That's as an example. But we also need L-carnitine. We also need alpha-lipoic acid, which is an antioxidant that is made naturally, and it also can be found in food, but we also can supplement it. Uses when our mitochondria are healthy and functional, they can actually effectively kill off damaged, potentially cancerous cells that are produced daily, replacing them with healthy cells. Now, why am I saying all these things about mitochondria, about the cells, the environment, and speaking specifically about the youth? Well, the youth tend to think that I will wait until I feel something, or I don't see the need to really look after my health right now because I am young, I am healthy, you know, and I can drink all the energy drinks and those will sustain me. And I can stay in the wee small hours of the morning peering at my Facebook on my cell phone. All those are damaging and they cause what we call inflammation. So about inflammation, overwhelming research, which has been written about, is that it is the secret killer. There's a link between inflammation and heart attacks, cancer, Alzheimer's, and other diseases. And it does not start when the symptoms start. It starts quite early on. It might start in childhood. It might even start with adverse childhood events that we call ACEs that lead to simmering inflammation, as I pointed out. So when we see things like memory loss and cognitive decline, or compromised digestive function, or loss of muscle tone, all of these we have actually talked about in these sessions. Accelerated skin aging, joint pains. We are not seeing something that started that day. And these are just symptoms of a chronic, ongoing, simmering situation. And we talk about it to the youth in this Youth Month so that we can look for solutions. So the missing piece is often the environmental toxins piece. So for those who are wondering why Neolife thinks about everything, including the toxins that have created so much havoc, over the past 50 to 60 years, over 80,000 chemicals have been added to our day-to-day use. Things like flame retardants in furniture and carpets and fabrics, in personal care products, in our detergents that are bought out there. Okay, and of course, food and water has a lot of those toxins. And so we need to be aware, even as youth, that we can do something. And here's the news flash. We can control the environment to which we, and therefore our genes, are exposed. We can control the expression of our genes. In other words, we are powerful creators. We can shift the expression of our genes and our physical manifestation. And that's why my mission is to help people to shift their focus from sickness to wellness. And each time I'm asked that question, doctor, what do I give for this and that and the other? I think you're getting quite tired of hearing me saying, I need you to start from the fundamentals. But I'll say it again. You must always start at the beginning. So remember also that thoughts are things, sorry, this was supposed to be our things, and affect physical reality. Thoughts are actually tangible. That is, in the study of quantum physics, they have proved that thoughts are things. So as youth, and as all of us, we need to get into the habit of setting goals. Why is that? We can accomplish any goal if we believe we can. And that goal should be something that you desire, that you really see yourself, you have visualized it. We just need to get past those limiting beliefs which have been programmed in our subconscious. All of us have programming in our subconscious from a long, long time ago. Even some people believe that before a child is born, there is some programming that may happen and is passed on to the third and fourth generation. Literally, it is written about. Okay, but I want us to always remember that we are not victims of our genes. And just to highlight that, the Human Genome Project was completed in 2003, and it determined that less than 2% of our DNA is responsible for genetic coding of unchangeable traits, unchangeable. That means that the remaining 98 or 99% can change over time and in response to the environment. And that's what we call epigenetics. Genes can be switched on or expressed in response to the environment. And so this is good news, guys. It's very, very good news, because we can change something about what we are all about. And so here is the wheel of life. This is what we call the wheel of life, where you can choose to set goals. You can make it more, you can make it less, but these are the ones that have been put together. Your spiritual life. What is your vision? What do you accept? What makes you joyful? Your mental self-actualization. I've asked somebody to speak to us in a few minutes. He'll tell you his story. Your competency, your integrity, right? Of course, your career, your personal attributes such as your self-esteem and confidence, and what you really want to strike out for and enjoy. And then financial, I hope we shall hear more about that from our guest speaker. And then physical. Guys, your body is what carries you. It's the house you live in. And you need to remember that you need to keep that house as energetic, as healthy, and as vital as possible. And then family, love, communication, connection. I talked about oxytocin and how possible it is that disruption of your gut microbiome might cause these feelings to disappear because you're not making it, because your gut bacteria has been messed up. We have solutions, which we will discuss in another session. And then social, yes, we live in society. We need to be part of that society. We are not an island or on our own. So there are solutions to the challenges. However, for things to change, a different way of choosing is called for, I believe. And we need to always ask ourselves, what can we do differently? And when we start doing it, we have to remember persistence. A river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. And the very word persistence means it takes time and some thinking about it. So here's my question. Are you ready for a new life? That's what Neolife can give you. Right. I looked up an old article I wrote, an old blog I wrote, and it was again for this particular month and the Youth Month and Youth Day. And I said, when we were at school, we were taught the vowels. Here are the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. So are you ready to look after your appearance and how you show up and your self-esteem? Are you ready to have energy and to really be as energetic and as vital as you can be? Are you getting the right information? And is that information relevant and useful? And do you seek out opportunities to prosper and to contribute to society. That is so crucial. And the U is unity. Have you found yourselves a tribe that you can belong to and you can be part of and really feel that I belong here? And I want to talk a little bit about nutrition. And today I'm not going to go in great detail on the products. We will do that on another occasion. And I think this particular presentation is the culmination of what we've been talking about over the weeks. But I found this quote by this lady called Jan Chosen-Bays. She's a teacher, author, mindful eating educator, and a pediatrician who specializes in working with abused children. And this is what she said: mindful eating replaces self-criticism with self-nurturing. It replaces shame with respect for your own inner wisdom. Now, this is so key for the youth to hear, because, you know, the culture of fast food and eating on the run and, you know, just eating anything and doing what I call grazing, you know, snacking throughout the day on what some people put together, two words that are actually not supposed to belong together: junk food. There's nothing like that, please. It's either food or it is junk. But anyway, snacking on all those things can be very detrimental. So this is a message to the youth from Jan Chosen-Bays. Mindful eating replaces self-criticism with self-nurturing. It replaces shame with respect for your inner wisdom. And so how you eat can be as important as what you eat. And now I just want to highlight a growing problem. We call it central adiposity. Other people call it belly. It is a major problem because after eating the wrong kinds of foods, too many carbs, too much sugar, you know, things like that, there is a conversion to fat which has to be stored somewhere. And initially there is elevation of the fats in the blood, and then the fat gets deposited around the middle. And then these things become very inflammatory because fat around the middle leads to persistent inflammation and can ultimately be a killer. And so what we are seeing way in the adulthood may have started during childhood and adolescence. So it is a fact that you are what you eat. And it has been shown that 75% of all chronic diseases can be prevented if we choose to eat differently and to go back to the basics as our forefathers were eating and were therefore healthy. So now I just want to, as a preamble, to introduce Andrew Bugembe. He's on the call, I believe. But just to point out that health is like money. We never have a true idea of its value until we lose it, unfortunately. So we can make a routine of healthy habits. It is all about knowing how to choose and knowing and coming to learn and to hang around with this particular tribe called Neolife, of how to manage your hormones and how to manage your weight. So it is time for action, Drew. And I might actually have to stop sharing so that I can see your face. We are all about wanting to hear how you as a youth have changed your life around by choosing differently. So I'm so curious to hear from you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Cesar. I hope I'm loud and clear. Sorry, I'm using my phone. I've just gotten home. Thank you for the opportunity. Am I loud and clear, Dr. Cesar?
Yes.
Just some feedback.
You are perfect.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. So for the people on the call and listening to us right now. My name is Bugembe Andrew. I am an electrical engineering graduate and a lawyer by profession. I came across this opportunity about 17 years ago when I was just transitioning into my university life. And it has been very transforming. I think in regards to the topic that we are sharing today, I must say that I hate to even begin to think where I would be, how I would be thinking, the kind of person I would be if it was not for Neolife. Why? Because when it comes to things like health, it has totally transformed my reasoning, my thinking. And I'm going to share with you a few examples. So when I started, I thought being a 20-year-old then, I didn't need to bother so much about my health because 20-year-old, you hear people talking about all these ailments and you're saying, wow, these guys are really, really sick. But I think the one thing I appreciated eventually was that is where most of us were going. And just looking at the food pyramid, 2016, 17 years ago, just looking at it and just knowing that and just becoming aware, because I think a lot of people out there, even up to this very day, when I share the food pyramid, the healthy one and the one that we have distorted, you still see the surprise on their face. So 17 years ago, when I saw that pyramid, I was like, okay, this is serious. We have been consuming a lot of fats and sugars for years. And then, of course, I went back, looked at, I'm a very analytical person. So I went back, looked at my very own life. And I could actually analyze it from today. Let me not analyze it from 2005 when I started. Let me analyze it from today. I'm married to Janet. We have a daughter. She's turning 10 this August. I will tell you that we really have bitter arguments and we struggle to say no when she tells us, Daddy, can we pass by KFC or can we eat that? And now, just before, so she was there for halftime. So before she went, I think it was a Saturday, she mentioned that, Daddy, I want to eat some chicken. And I know what that means to our health. Many of the parents today are age mates. Whatever the child asks for, they give. Daddy, I want ice cream, they give. Mommy, can I get some more sugar? They give, that kind of thing. But because of my exposure in Neolife, I feel like the mission we are on to make sure that we live we create a healthy and happier world out there is really a worthwhile environment, a worthwhile mission. Because I've seen my grandmothers before they passed on, and grandfathers, but mainly my grandmothers who lived a lot longer. I've seen them hit 90 years of age. I saw my grandmother who had angina pectoris at one point live a longer, healthier life, at least for the next 15 years. She eventually passed on in 2020, but from 2005 when I started showing her how she can, supplement with vitamin E. And I saw how she improved as she grew older, because she would walk such a short distance and she would get so tired. And getting onto vitamin E and seeing her at least maximize the last 15 years of her life up to 90 was such a great joy. I saw the same thing with my paternal grandmother as she suffered with diabetes and pressure at the same time. So many of our grandparents have luckily gotten to 90 years of age. My dad is approaching 70 right now. And I can tell you that I also give the credit to his products, because right from the time I started, I'm very thankful to my uplines, because one of the first one-on-ones I did when I started in this business was to have one of my uplines talk to my dad about the products. And I've seen him consume the zinc and the different products, the Pro Vitality to date. And I've seen a much better, healthier dad right now as we speak. But you see, each of those people, my grandmother and my dad, did not have as much exposure to cooking oil and sugar like I've done. You know, I'm getting to 40 soon, and I can tell you I've had more cooking oil and more sugar and more processed foods exposed to me than my father and my grandmother. And I think this is why I see the trouble, because as youth, we need to become more aware, because today, and just even today, I was doing some one-on-ones. So a few months back, we got in touch with a lady who had a child that was type 1 diabetes. And I mean, she shared with us experience. It was really disheartening. You listen to her, and right from 9 months, she's been injecting the child with insulin. And it's sad. You literally, and today now, that mother referred us to another mother who referred us to another mother. And today, so I met another mother who was literally at one of the clinics in the neighborhood. And this child was on drip, and he was getting hydrated. And she was sharing with us her experience with her type 1 diabetes child, who is just 8 years of age. And literally, she was confused because she did not know what to give the child. She does not know whether to pack the child cookies. The child is a middle child. She's in between two children, an older and a younger one. And the others are quite fine. But when this child when she sees the other two taking some biscuits and cookies, he wants to take those same things. And I mean, the mother is hurting literally. So talking to her and telling her about how the Pro Vitality, because many of the other two mothers were not even using the Vita Squares and the Vita Gut. They were actually using Pro Vitality, and they're using Botanical Balance, and they're using the New Life Shake to try and get their children back in shape. But you know, going through this and seeing how these mothers were experiencing, and they're really my age mates. They're not that old, because Irene is 10, her son is 8. We are not that different. But beginning to see how the mother eventually comes, because the other two mothers have really benefited a lot from the products. One of them said that we used to take insulin measurements about 4 times a day. And what they've now done is that every time they've taken the insulin measurement, they've seen the blood sugar level is not as bad as it was before they started onto the products. And looking at that and seeing these youthful mothers now begin to get a little more comfortable and happier with their children is such a fascinating thing. But getting back to the point, a lot of our children are likely to get more affected if we as youth, or if we don't become aware and begin to educate the people that around us, because the people that are at the highest risk right now, as I speak, of getting this stuff by some of the things that Dr. Cesar talks about, are the children we have given birth to, because they are at the greatest exposure of these refined foods. They are the ones that have been somehow accustomed to all sorts of sugars and cooking oil. And it's kind of our duty and our obligation as people that have become aware of this opportunity to begin to educate those people around us so that they suffer less. I mean, we are seeing a lot more children that are allergic to a lot more things today. I mean, you will look and you'll hear it as we speak right now. When I was younger, we played in soil and mud. We played all sorts of games, and we hardly had any infections. We were hardly in the hospital. I actually don't remember being in the hospital for any kind of infection. But today we have millions of children in hospitals with all forms of infections. You find bacterial infections, viral infections, and they are reoccurring, and they are, I mean, all over the place. And you're thinking to yourself, what have we done wrong? But what we are getting on this call and what we are being trained on, those are some of the things we are looking at, and those are some of the things we are looking at to improve people's lives out there. So me, I've decided to use this as a really true opportunity. I believe in Africa, we still have a lot of potential. For some of us who are looking for a way to make an extra income, this is definitely something that you can do. I was able to graduate and retire on the same day. How many years ago? These are 17 years. About 12 years ago, I was able to graduate and retire on the same day. I have not been employed in the law degree, and I'm still not going to use it because really it was for my personal growth. Some people don't want to hear that. But at the end of the day, this opportunity has allowed me to live really a fairy tale kind of life. And I believe that if I can do it, I know many of us that are on the call right now, especially if you're a guest, you're not just going to improve your health, you're going to improve your financial situation. You're going to take your children to the best schools that you can possibly take them to. You're going to enjoy some phenomenal lifestyle. We have just come back from Durban. We are visiting Dr. Caesar's, hometown there. It was such a beautiful place being in Zimbali, a 5-star hotel. I mean, we have been enjoying these 5-star hotels since 2008. And all this is courtesy of this opportunity. It's courtesy of Neolife. It's because of the zeal and love we have to go out there and educate people about their health, about their environment, seeing to it that they are able to ensure that their products that they're using in their houses are toxin-free, they are biodegradable, and they're economical. So think about it, ladies and gentlemen. It is something that is possible. So if you're a guest on the call, we would like to welcome you. Please join us on other occasions so that you can get some more information. Thank you very much, Dr. Cesar, for the opportunity. Allow me to stop here.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm still, can you hear?
Yes.
I'm not muted?
Yes,
I don't
yes,
remember.
yes.
Okay. Right. Those are thank you very much, Andrew. And for all of you who are looking to be mentored, Andrew is a brilliant teacher and mentor and coach in this business. So he's mentioned finances and how this opportunity can turn that around. But we need to look within ourselves and say, what is stopping me? What are my limiting beliefs? Can I actually believe that I can do this? And then right now, of all times, it is a perfect time to offer this opportunity to the youth. Because today, as I was servicing one of my customers, a lady said, my daughter is looking for a job. I said, she should stop doing that because there are no jobs. Let her rather look for an opportunity. But those are the kinds of mindset changes that are required at such a time as this to reconceptualize the whole idea and the whole way of making money. Nelson Mandela said, money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. And that is what Neolife offers. And those are the steps. Everybody starts small. And remember, I spoke about setting goals and the importance of setting goals. Neolife has actually helped us to set those goals. So when you get started as a distributor, you know that your next goal is to get to manager or even to jump manager and get to senior manager. And then you will be mentored and shown how to become an executive manager, and then have your eye focused firmly on becoming a director. Beyond that, you remain a director for 3 months and more as you work hard to develop other directors. And once you have one director or 2 directors developed, you are what we call. But meanwhile, these are in rands, but it works out to, this is, oh gosh, I'd have to remember what it is. This is about $1,500 and on it goes, but you can get lots of earnings by helping enough other people. So the youth might say it is hard work, but I have dreams. Will I achieve them? You know, you're not alone. You are not alone. And that's why I said, if you want to belong to a good tribe, this is it, because you will only help other people and then get rewarded. Okay. So just a quick show. We have the first range of non-toxic cleaning products. It hasn't changed its formula for we have a laundry compound that is amazing. Our biggest range are the nutritionals. These are a sample of them. We call nutrition. whatever anybody has and wants to start with a good nutrition program, this is where to begin. However, Neolife is sensitive to different budgets, and you can start with at any level. You can start with just this one item, or you can start with these, or you can have the entire Pro Vitality. Today, I delivered 2 Pro Vitalities to a customer. So there is no, get rid of that self-limiting belief that people cannot afford these products. There is something for everybody. We have a skincare range. It's 100% organic. It defies the aging process. It is very well priced, very, very well priced. And if you make a business of it, you can earn a good income. So we are actually on a mission to make the world a healthier and happier place, starting with you, the youth. And we look forward to welcoming as many youth as possible at such a time as this, because, hey guys, this has to shift from being a little hobby that you poke at to a serious mission to make the world a healthier and happier place. Thank you so, so much. I will stop sharing, and thank you all for being here. I will